one of the ways to analyze what's happening in terms of trends is go and use Google Trends. This is the tool by Google, which you can use to see how has changed the number of search in the topic you're interested in over the years, all in comparison with certain other topic. So this is the Google Trends. Here you can do the search by categories and by country. So you can first, for example, start with choosing the entertainment, and now he's gonna show us what's popular in the States. So here is how it is within the States, and here is the exact searches. So he's showing us what is the priorities, and then if we change the country, obviously we'll get different results. So for Argentina, it would look like this. The other way to use this tool is actually just to put the exact search term you were hoping to build your business on. So in keywords planner, you should check what is the best keywords to look at, and then try them one by one and see how they perform. So for example, we're gonna assume that we were wondering whether it makes sense to build a sushi bar. So we just put sushi, and let's see what kind of results we get. As you can see, we get here the trend on sushi. This shows you not in number of searches, but in relative number of searches over the time. So it compares this year with that year, but also it shows you in comparison with the number of searches done within a specific year. So you actually can have a flat line, which we will assume that the trend is 0, but it just means in relative terms, because in absolute terms it actually can be growing. So as we can see here, it has been increasing over the time. So starting from 2004, because this is the time frame we are analyzing now, it went from 30 to around 90 now. Here it shows you where actually the trend is strongest, again in relative terms. So although Chile here seems to be the strongest one, and the USA is somewhere here, probably in US you have much more searches in absolute terms. It's just the trend within this specific country is lower. Here we get the words that are connected with the basic words. So for sushi, it's actually just sushi, and you can also see whether there are some rising so things that increase in popularity. Now, let's assume that we want to compare it with some other concepts. So in the case of sushi, maybe I'm also considering just running for pizza. So let's see how it compares with pizza. So as you can see, it is much stronger, the trend. And again, the numbers has changed. So here we had for sushi just 30 to 90. And since he put the pizza terms, you can see that the sushi was also squeezed down. So it looks smaller, but this is just because the pizza is so strong. So actually sushi in comparison with pizza looks much smaller. And again, this is a rising trend for pizza, rising trend for sushi. For sushi, first you have much lower number of searches, but also you have a not that strong trend. And here again, it is shown for countries and the rising, and you can switch from sushi to pizza. So for pizza, for example, it shows us that actually the strongest trend would be the USA, Canada, Australia. For sushi, surprisingly, Denmark, Chile, Singapore are the one that this is the strongest. Now, the other thing we can do here is, instead of comparing sushi to pizza, also adding the locations. So let's see. So instead of comparing sushi and pizza, we're gonna compare sushi over a number of places. So let's say Brazil, Japan, and let's say Germany. Now you can see that actually where the trend is the strongest one. So actually for Germany, it is the strongest one, surprisingly, or maybe not. For Japan, this is the lowest. So for them, it's actually not something they would be looking for. So let's say they're not search based. Anyway, so Germany is the strongest one, then the second is Brazil, and it's growing, and then Japan is roughly the same over the period, and it is like flat and pretty low. Yeah, I think it shows you here how it compares within the country. So here you can see that this is the strongest states in Brazil. For Japan, it is the small island of Okinawa, and then Germany would be Berlin, not surprisingly, because probably bigger countries are more cosmopolitan, whereas the province is a little bit more traditional, and then the Bavaria is the strongest one. So this is the way you can use this tool. Obviously you can limit it with the time, so I can just, for example, put how it performed over the last 90 days, and I get a bit different results. Obviously the trends will be not that strong for this category. Then the other thing I can do is instead of just going for the searches which are done in the Google, I can just go for images. So it's then for those who choose the tab of images, or I can go, for example, for YouTube. Let's have a look how it's gonna be looking for YouTube. So it doesn't look that much, although you can see that this is more like a volatile. Let's see, maybe for different set of dates what we're gonna have. So surprising for Japan, this is totally different, the search curve. So it probably means that these guys started rather looking for ways to do sushi on YouTube rather than look for places to buy sushi or to order sushi. So this is the way you can use it. There are much more ways to use Google Trends, but this is the basic you're going to use for market research, and I strongly recommend you using it as one of the ways to check whether the business you want to build makes sense from a longer perspective. Is it like on a growing trend or on a slowing trend, or the trend is basically flat?